Hey everybody, Mike Reese here, Martial Arts Chat. Yesterday I did a rant about really bad stuff just being out there and how that can really lead for that misconception of basically those guys that say they're self-defense or they're combatives guys, and because there's people out there that throw that combatives label on there, or self-defense, reality-based self-defense, whatever they want to put the label on as, but they're really displaying just nothing good. I mean, my wife, she's been with me for 14 years. So, being with me for 14 years, and then she's even, as a kid, she had some jiu-jitsu self-defense classes. I showed her this video, and she's not like a big aficionado of, of martial arts. It's not like she's like this big know-it-all or anything. But I showed her these videos, a couple of the videos of this person that I was ranting about yesterday. And even as someone who's not like really like me, like who've been lifetime in martial arts, she went, "That's ridiculous." Because there was a move they was saying, hey, even if they have a bear hug on your arms and you're just shaking it back and around, even just the shifting of your weight, that should shake them loose. And she goes, "That's ridiculous. Wonder if the person's bigger than you." She goes, think about a woman, a much smaller woman, being grabbed around the arms like that. She goes, that person, and I showed her a couple of things that would really happen. I said, act like you're getting into your purse or you're trying to get into the car. I said, this is what's really going to happen. And I ran up and I pushed on her as I grabbed her, and she went, "Ooh!" And she went totally forward, and she was like, "Oh, I would have been pinned against the car." And I said, "You would have been pinned against the car." And I said, and as soon as you shifted your weight, I said, "Now shift your weight because I'm pulling you back now." She started trying to shift her hips. As soon as she tried to move, one, she couldn't move. Two, I lifted her, and I was like, "Now you're off balance. I've got you. I have got you." She said, the only thing good that might come out of that is maybe just the fact that people might fight back. And I was thinking, this is true. This is true. If you are in need of just learning to fight back, because even Tony Blauer said most people that survive an attack, they don't do a technique, they don't do anything like martial arts wise, but what they do is they actually react. They actually do something. They actually fight back. And 90% of the people that fight back live. And I was like, yeah, that's good. I said, but he said, and those people without training, without anything like that, those people live. And I said, that's a really good statistic. But how did that help the 10% that didn't? And even though I know people say, well, there's never 100%, and I said, yeah, but could we narrow it down? We should be shooting for the 100 mark as martial artists, self-defense experts. We should be up here shooting for that mark of 100%. And when there's people out there that are selling this stuff, they have a school, they have ridiculous things. They say it's a health fitness club, and it's like, really? I don't think I would look at you and go, "Ooh." I mean, I tell people, it's like, personal trainer for me would probably be a great job because I like working one-on-one with people. I love motivating people. I like being able to help a person out, spend that time with them and actually, say, "Hey, man, you can do this. There's nothing I'm very good at it. I like doing that, and I've done it with people before in my church, and I've done it with people before just in my life, and I enjoy that part of it. I enjoy motivating kids. I enjoy motivating teens to understand that, you don't have to accept that what everyone's doing around you, that's the way it is. You never have to accept that, but too many people do. You don't even have to accept that, your angry way is the only way. You don't have to accept that because it's not. So it's like, I enjoy that. I enjoy that mentorship. I enjoy doing that. And I said, but I'm out of shape. Who in their right mind is going to take notes from me? Now, I can bang out push-ups, curl up, I don't know, I can probably curl decently. I don't know how much. I don't have proper weight, but I do curls, and I do, I could do several sets of, 12s with the weights that I have, and it's like 25 pounds or something like that. So I can do like 3 or 4 sets, probably more, in curls with it. I don't know. I don't know what that was out to. But anyways, I can pound out push-ups for about, a minute, 3 rounds for a minute. I can pound out those kind of things. I can do incline. I can do, I can do certain workouts. I can run, I can run a mile and come back and be okay. And get my air back pretty quickly. I'm not, I guess it's like, I'm not in horrible shape, so to speak, but I don't look it because my diet's horrible. So it's harder for me to motivate people to get on a diet when I'm being really lazy with mine. Do I know how to eat all that stuff? Yes, of course I do. I know how to eat clean and all that stuff. And I'm actually turning my life back to that, so maybe later on. And I enjoy training. I enjoy working out. I enjoy doing these things. So it's like, but I wouldn't take advice from me right at the moment, because even though I work out and I train every day, even though that's the case, I wouldn't take advice from me, because I wouldn't look at me and go, really? You're gonna tell me how to do this, that? I mean, it's just that. Now, if they came to me about martial arts skills or something, from my camera, if I took and I showed them what I did with martial arts, I could do something with self-defense. I can guarantee people start listening to me, and they have. But that's where the proof comes in. When it comes to martial arts, I try to steer away so much from the Eastern culture part of it, because, like I said, I don't have like this long lineage. I don't have a lot of things like that. So I never say, well, go and see, make sure they have uniforms, make sure they have belts, make sure they have this, make sure they have that. Now, as far as I'm concerned, they do need a credentialed way of, if they're going to be promoting you or something like that, they should have an organization backing them up. At least one. Backing up and recognizing their rank. They should, at least. And it shouldn't be by them. It should be made by them. It should be by another person that they've actually had to sit down and they've actually had to sign paper. Someone else saying yes, absolutely. That's all. In my opinion. Some people say, yeah, but there's a lot of people out there that are just handing out rank. And that is very, very true. And that's a horrible, horrible trend. My thing is there's some people out there that are just trying to help people attain things that they were unable to get because of how these schools now, they cost like $100, $150 per test or something like that, and that's just a lot when you're already spending probably about $100 to $200 a month on training. And now they're saying every 3 months you're going to add another $100 to $150 of training for belt testing that people just don't have. So, plus the rest of their life, the lives that they have to live, other than this, other than give it over to a school. It's horrible. And I think when people see the business model of a martial arts school and they realize that they can franchise out and they can make it a fitness thing and they can start doing this, that, and the other, and it also becomes a point of, well, I don't want to do anything else, I just want to do this. I think that's one thing that a lot of people go, oh, well, look what these guys are doing. I've taken some certification courses. One seminar where you get a certificate doesn't make you an instructor. Okay? You don't go to a seminar for 4 hours and come out an instructor. It doesn't work that way. You can't just go, well, that's how it's not, Most seminars, those are just additions to put into your already made curriculum, not something for you to build up a school on. And a lot of people are going out and doing that. They're taking these like 4-hour seminars, or like these 2-day seminars that are like, 4 hours, 8 hours maybe, walking out of there saying with a certificate and of completion, and saying that they're doing, and all it was just to add into a curriculum you already had. It had nothing to do. Seminars were always to just basically take information that maybe you don't have, maybe you just don't understand, and add it into the curriculum you have, that you just, because it wasn't existent in your curriculum in that time. So you as an instructor should be going, hey, I'm going to add that onto my stuff. But it's become, if you become a seminar person, it's almost become ridiculous. Because now you do seminars, but you're doing them for the entire school, not just instructors. You're going around doing seminars, and it's all for everyone in there. So you're giving up information that are supposed to go to instructors to add to their curriculum, and is going to people who don't even understand the full curriculum of what they already do. And then these guys have that same information, and that's given to this, like, we have forgotten the process because of this. Everybody wants this. Instead of just saying, you know what, hey man, I'm making a living, I'm going to do this seminar, but my real passion's doing this, or my actual job is doing this. I love doing this. This is a great, addition to my, to my stuff. And it's like, it's good for some information. I do believe that it has to be broke down differently in some ways, in my opinion, if you're going to do it for every rank that's in there. I'm not a part of the seminar circuit. I don't do seminars. I wouldn't mind doing a seminar, but honestly, I just tell people, honestly, you guys have the info. It's just you guys either don't know how to apply it or whatever. So a part of me is also uninterested in the fact that it's just I just want to train. I really do. I like doing one-on-one teachings of people that just need it. They need self-defense. I like doing that. I'll teach those people. I want to help. I want to train with people that just have other knowledge, and they want to bounce things off me, and I want to learn from them. That's my main focus. I really don't care about the rest. But I was asked by Jaham, Loyal to Law on YouTube, drinking my pink drink. He said, how do we stop people from doing this? How do we stop people from going out and basically doing what this guy's doing? And honestly, he says, do we out them? And here's my thing. I really have, that's such a good question, because I really have no I have no answer, because we have no way of regulating this type of information. We have no way of really doing it, except for people going out and outing. And then you get too many people that are like bullshito, that are out there slandering people that are good, that they just don't believe. So it's like, there's a point of where it goes from doing a good service of just pointing out guys that are really bad and they shouldn't be doing school stuff, to being totally arrogant and thinking that you know more than the rest, and you guys don't have the authority, nor the knowledge, nor the ability to tell people what's fraudulent and what's not, because you're not schooled enough, you're not well trained enough, you're not experienced enough. Basically, you're not knowledgeable. You're basically nothing, but you're telling other people that this is how it should go. That, in my opinion, that's wrong. And that's why there's people on YouTube that have those kind of videos out there. They're trying to say these people are fraudulent, these people are fraudulent, la 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 la. And it's like, really, and you look at their background, they really have zero in their background that should give them that kind of knowledge. Some people, and then there's some that do have some knowledge. But it's like, dude, really? But even the amount of knowledge that you have does not make you an expert in the complete field of martial arts or anything like that. So you can't just say, hey, this is what it goes for. And even me, I'm not outsing this guy by saying he's fraudulent. I'm saying, because he does have a certificate, but it was like, but it's like a level 1 instructor or something like that, and it's like of kosher, and it was like, dude, that's not enough. That's not enough, man. Because you can get that in a seminar, bro. And if you get that, that's not what that stuff's made for. It's not for you to just start throwing on a uniform and saying, hey, man, this is how it is. And you don't even do, if you don't, you do a uniform, oh, we just do t-shirts and gi pants, and we're doing it this way because we're a combative program. You know, it's even more crazy because it's like, you have to have a foundation in a martial art, period. I don't know. I guess it's just, even like I said, even a lot of this is my opinion. But trust me, it's when I show people these things, you see the truth in what I'm talking about. And I'm not, like I said, I'm not going out here, I'm not picking on people on purpose. It's more of, you know, could I see someone with this? Yeah. And there's some people out there that generally have certificates in martial arts, and I'm like, okay, what's the big deal, dude? They're doing martial arts. They're good. They've proven that they can do it. They've proven that they have the skill level. Leave them alone. But people get their hang-ups. This guy has not proven that he can do it. He's proven that even in the ridiculous, in the unfortunate thing is these people were being, they had him in the padded suit and everything, and they were trying to pull off the maneuvers that he was talking about. They couldn't even pull off these maneuvers. The attacker had to let go, or else the guy they would have never got to that point. And, you know, I'm all about giving people confidence. Okay, I'm all about people becoming more confident in themselves and becoming confident and living, you know, without fear and all this. I'm all about that. But how far does it go before it's just false confidence? Because false confidence will get you killed. You believing that these things are going to get you out of a tight spot is going to be wrong. Because you couldn't perform them properly even in your training. Even in a controlled environment, you were unable to pull off the techniques. That's a problem for me. That's a problem and if you're sitting back and you're looking at it and you don't see it as that's a problem, then you really don't know how to instruct. And I have a problem with people that try to show huge mechanics. I don't mind showing big mechanics to show how the body should be moving in fluid motion, but then when you do it fast, it should look much tighter in a much smaller space, because you should be, if you shouldn't be telegraphing, and telegraphing is big giant motions. And most fighters and self-defense people will not tell you to go back here and then throw your palm strike from here. And the reason why is because they can see that coming. As soon as you do this, you think for 1 second they're just going to stop and let you hit them? You either got to be extraordinarily fast, or this guy's got to be extraordinarily dim-witted for you to, which I'm not saying that those people don't exist, but they really have to be bad for you to be able to pull this off. And there was so many things wrong going on in that particular scene, and you know, and I know the defense or what most people would say, well, you didn't see the whole thing, you haven't trained with it, this, that, and the other. It's like, dude, you're right, I haven't trained with it, and that's because I know better. And if you really want me to go in there into his class and shame him in front of everybody, I personally would not like to do that, but at the same time, I would have no problem doing that because of the fact that, you know, I really don't care for this kind of stuff to be out there. You know, and how do we stop this? You know, like I said, you start thinking that you got everything down and everything, you're going to start stopping people who actually have genuine skill. So I really don't think we're ever going to, because there's no regulations, there's nothing out there that can do this. There's nothing within the martial arts world over here, especially in the U.S., that really says that you can regulate it. I mean, when I opened my school, I didn't even need a license for my school when I was in Wyoming. And I looked for it. I looked for, like, do I need a business license? They said you need a small business license when you start selling material. So when I needed to just start selling, like, when I started wanting to sell equipment, stuff like that, when I started putting equipment in my school, that's when I needed a small business license, a sales tax license and stuff like that. But I didn't need it for my school because there was no actual licensing for that in my state at that time. It's going to probably be different in other areas, but at the same time. So unless there's a regulation that you need a certain licensing to have that, and you have to show some sort of credentials for it. The sad part is those licensing departments will have to just see a piece of paper basically that has a certification on it that shows that you can instruct. And I've got those, but someone says instructor, level 1 instructor or something like that on a piece of paper that I got from a seminar, he's got that too. So it's like that won't even change the fact. Bad stuff is just being taught, and I really am at a impasse here of thinking I don't think there's really a way to get around it. There really is no way to getting around it, and unfortunately I think we're going to be stuck. We're going to be stuck in an age where everybody's just going to be trash talking, and more people are going to gravitate. More people are going to gravitate to things like that are more commercialized. They're just going to gravitate to things like Krav Maga, the heavy commercialized Krav Maga, not the stuff that they were teaching before it got heavily into the business, because they're suffering from the same thing. They got into the business part of it. Now they're so commercial in business. Some of their stuff is starting to break away because of how much. When you start breaking it away from the amount of instructors, the quality starts going away. And now it's like in there's like a bunch of fitness clubs that have Krav Maga self-defense and stuff like that, and it's like eventually it's now self-defense, and then even them, I don't take everything that Krav Maga does. I don't look at everything they do as absolutely correct, because there's other things behind that doesn't look right. And that's my way of thinking and my experiences that make me believe that. Do I think they're effective? Sure, if you take it from what they were before. There's some really good solid stuff in Krav Maga and how it's broke down and how it's done right. And there's people that I see do it, and they do it completely differently. When they do it, they're really good at it. And not only are they really good at it, they're really effective with it because they do it in an effective way. And then you have those that are out there that like I said, they do that. It's like it's not a very, I guess it's like, I don't know really how to explain it. It's just like there's some that are just really bad. There's just really bad stuff out there. And like I said, it's not the style so much as it is the instruction and possibly how they were instructed, and maybe just what they took away from it. And some people, like I said, are going to seminars saying that they're instructors now, and they're going out giving really bad instruction because they really don't understand the system at all. How do we prevent that? Well, start these guys that are, with these organizations like the Krav Maga Association and anything that has some sort of association or some sort of organization. They need to be getting on top of all the instructors they have, and finding out if there's anybody out there teaching their stuff that is not a certified instructor, that has never been given permission as instructor, and they need to be shutting them down. I mean, it's falling under the organizations, in my opinion. It's starting to fall under them to now start regulating who is an instructor and who shouldn't be. But I think it's also because we're falling into this whole era where there's more 10th Dans than there is, I mean, I have not seen so many grandmasters in my life. And people say, yeah, but that was back in the 80s when you started training. So wouldn't that be technically how these guys would be now? Maybe, because I know guys that have been doing this for 40 years, over 40 years, and they just got their 6th Dan. And some people say, well, then don't you think that's just slow progression? Not on how it used to be done. You would get your 1st Dan. You could test up to your 3rd to 4th Dan, maybe up to the 5th even, depending on the system. You could test up to that. And you might have some rapid succession up to that, but you'd have to do it every year that you're in the system. So like you would test it year one, you would get, so you get Shodan. Next year you could test for your second dan. Okay, you get your first dan, you get your second dan, then you're out. 2 years later, because you're second dan, 2 years later you test your third dan. 3 years later you test for your fourth dan. 4 years later you test for your fifth dan. 5 years later you test for your sixth dan. And by then you've already, even if that's the case, okay, that means if I spent 4 or 5 years just to get my Shodan, just to get my first degree black belt, so there's 5 years right there. Let's say 5, okay, 5 years. Then I got 6 years, 8 years, 11 years. Let's see, and that's only up now. See, that's only like third dan. Let's see. Then we have 20. Then we have 15 years. So it's like, you see what I'm saying? So it's like, so it's 15 years. Now I got 20 years. I've been doing it for 20 years to get my fifth dan. And now I've got like sixth dan, like 6 years. Let's see what. So you got what, 26 years for your sixth dan. I mean, even if you did it by that progression, 26 years you should only get your sixth dan, not your 10th. By the time you've been in the art for 50 some years, possibly almost 60 years, you would have your 10th dan. You probably have your 10th dan. And some people are like, but wow, some people started when they're like 17 years old, like 15 years old or something like that, maybe 11. Let's go 11 years old. And now you're saying within, like, by the time he's 35, he should only have a sixth dan? Fifth or sixth dan? Yeah. I've been doing this since I was 4. And some say, well, how much can you learn when you're 4? Well, when you're pushed to the test and everyone is 4 years older than you at the very minimum age, they're 4 years older than you, that they take in, and you stay in there along with them up until they close down for like 8 years, and they still won't give you Shodan. They won't to let you take the black belt test yet until you are of a certain age, because you're just too young. Because I was 12, I was just too young for that. And the other one I started from 8 until I was 12, because they closed down around the same time. Okay, mind you, these things happen. They left. And you know what I'm saying? So it's like, I didn't make it for here, I didn't make it for there, and I was too young to test for either one of them. What do? When you know the material, you know all this stuff upside down. Matter of fact, you're doing backyard training with some of these guys because they're like brothers of friends of yours. You're doing this stuff, you know it, they're just waiting for you to get to the right age to do it. And then what? What do you have? You got a lot of knowledge, but nothing cinching you in. And then there's some people out there that say, well, this guy was 15 years old and had a school, one of the biggest schools out there. Good for him. He had a teacher that decided that he didn't mind ranking them at a younger age to a Shodan rank. By the time I would have reached probably 15, 16, depending on my maturity, if the school would have stayed in, by that time, I more than likely would have been able to test for more than just my Shodan. I probably could have tested at least up to my second or third dan. Possibly. I don't know for sure. I don't know if they would let me. But even then, I would have had enough knowledge, and if I had enough maturity, I would have been probably teaching, and I would have been at a higher caliber, a teacher, because I would have stuck in there and been loyal and been able to handle all that stuff. Sometimes when it comes to teaching, you don't know how to teach just because you spent 4 years in the system. Sometimes you need an extra, like I said, that's why I don't say 4 years. I say 4 years you could possibly test. But I say 5 years if you're old enough. 5 years at least, because you had that year of being able to prepare yourself to learn how to be an instructor. To reach your shodan. You know, to your first degree black belt, you should have at least you know, you got 4 years of your basic stuff, and then a year at least of some learning how to instruct to be a good instructor. And then you could reach your black belt so you can instruct and do it well and not be silly. But I only have a 5th dan. I've been very blessed by other people that have seen what I can do. They've talked with me. They've seen my written work. They've seen my physical work. There's been people who've trained with me who've talked about it. So things like that. I mean, so it's like I have that ability that they blessed me with with that kind of thing, and I was like, well, and I felt very honored. But for most, you know, some organizations recognize me only as a founder of my own system, but they only give me a shodan, really. They only look at me as an instructor, and that's fine. I was really never looking to do more. The only reason why I even got into the whole looking for ranking, getting myself up there, getting myself out there, getting my own system made up, because one, it's the way I do things. It's what I've taken apart from other martial arts, but it's the way I do it. But anyway, what I'm saying is there's no way of, I don't think there's any way of doing it, and we just live in an age that there's a bunch of trash out there, and there's a bunch of people out there just throwing on, you know, grandmaster ranking, and there's people out there that want to go, well, you know, with just everybody's being ridiculous with this ranking thing anymore. I never even cared about ranking until I had a kid, and I wanted him to leave him a legacy. If I would have known that he was going to basically only learn bits and pieces from me here and there, and he didn't really care, I probably would have never done it. Because I know what I know, and I do what I do, and I never cared whether or not if I was out there or not. You even notice on YouTube, my earliest ones is when my son was 7 years old, or he just turned 7, and I decided to do some self-defense stuff at my church. That was the only reason why I went out there to do it. That was the only reason why I did it. So, I personally, I don't care. I really lived without having those type of things in my life for years, and I can honestly see why now. Because I was able to enjoy martial arts, I was able to enjoy training, I was able to enjoy that stuff, and never have to deal with the political idealism and BS that's out with all this stuff. Whether it's in Japan, whether it's in the US, it doesn't matter. There's so much political garbage going on with the martial arts because of the commercialism and the business side of martial arts. It has gone so far away from what martial arts has always been, and it makes me sick to the most part. So, but that's pretty much it for me. Like I said, I really wish I had a better answer than I don't think we're ever going to have that ability. I just don't think we're just going to see more and more garbage, and we're just going to see more and more bad things get out there until the organizations themselves start getting on top of it and start saying, no, you are not an instructor, and start shutting them down. Until the integrity comes back. Until the integrity of these organizations, integrity of the arts, integrity of the whole thing comes back, you will never see it. You'll start seeing more and more garbage out there every day, and that's just the facts. That's just simple the facts. What's this? What's my pink drink that I keep shaking and drinking? Actually, what's funny is I'm going to tell you guys about this real quick. My wife and I have decided that we want to lose weight. We wanted to find something that was going to help us lose weight, and I just need something to help me burn the fat off and help me. Because my diet's horrible, and you know, when you're broke, you really only have so much money to do, and you know what's good, you know what's cheap, the stuff that's bad for you. Anyways, that's a whole nother story. But at the same time, what we're gonna do here, So we decided, well, what is it? You know, then a friend of hers got on this called Plexus Slim, and the Plexus Accelerator and stuff like that. And we're like, okay, what is that? And then she saw that her friend was happy. She was losing, and she was losing weight. She said, I lost weight, I lost inches. And just within, they give you like the sample. It's like 3 days. So this is a 3-day thing. This is my day 2 of drinking this. It's a drink and a pill 1 time a day. So I'm skeptical on this, but I'm going to review this. If this comes out, I've lost weight or inches or both within the 3 days, I am going to do what I can to promote this, because if this works for me, I know some of my friends that are out there that have the same issue I do. It's hard, you know, our diets are harsh. You know, it's like, and sometimes it's just harder to get down, especially as you get older. It's harder to get all that stuff off, especially when you don't have like personal trainers and, you know, personal chefs taking care of all that stuff for you. So I'm going to review this. I'm going to let you guys know how it works, like how it works for me, because I'm done being overweight. I'm done, you know, I'd rather look as, you know, I'm doing all this workout. I like to look like I've actually done these workouts. So I'm going to review this later on. So, okay. So anyways, guys, I'll give you guys a shout out later. Keep talking about martial arts, but keep it true, guys. There's a lot of garbage out there, so our job is to talk about martial arts and keeping it honest. Okay? Thanks a lot, guys. We'll talk to you later.